Welcome to This Week in AT. This Week in AT, March 10th, 2025. AT legislative work. The importance of governmental affairs work at the state level. Before we get into some of the legislation currently out in the world that would impact athletic trainers, I'd like to shout out Stephanie Kuzidum, author of Safer Sidelines, who does an amazing job of keeping up to date and informing everyone about what's going on around the safety of student athletes and athletic trainers. Thank you for your work, your advocacy, and everything else. A huge part in helping me keep updated on what's happening within the profession. Just wanted to give a quick shout out there. The importance of advocacy and service, generally speaking. Service within the athletic training profession is how a vast majority of the advances made in states and at the national level occur. Service can be a contentious topic, a discussion for another time, but it is necessary in a variety of aspects when it relates to governmental relations and actions. Governmental affairs committees are essential to help keep tabs on bills that not only directly impact athletic training credentialing, but also could impact the profession from a different perspective. In addition, like some examples below, it can be essential for athletic trainers to put their support behind legislation or oppose it when necessary. Advocacy goes beyond service, though, and if service isn't right for you right now, you can still make an impact by connecting with officials that represent you in your state and on the national level. While it can often be the case that it feels like your voice goes unnoticed, especially in a world where nothing seems to be slowing down, everyone is talking, and it just gets echoed everywhere, it definitely will not be heard if you don't make an attempt to communicate. Response in numbers catches attention, and action in making it happen can often make up for the potential apathy of other organizations who may not see the need to connect or communicate either. As a general rule I've tried to live by, and I think it applies perfectly here, is if you get the opportunity to speak up or change something, and you don't, you've essentially forfeited your right to complain about it later. Don't let this happen to you. Here are a couple of bills that Stephanie had flagged that I think highlight all the aspects of the needs for service and advocacy in athletic training around governmental affairs. In Florida, Senate Bill 1270 and House Bill 729 are looking to remove the regulatory body for athletic trainers. This doesn't provide any savings to the taxpayers, as the AT licensures fees fund the board. In South Carolina, there's a Luke Barrett Act, which would require AEDs in school districts and develop cardiac emergency response plans. In Colorado, Rafe's bill, or the readily available for every student, was named after Rafe Macaron, would require school districts to develop cardiac emergency response plans. In Minnesota, there's a bill going through that would require public school districts to develop cardiac emergency response plans. This one's supported by the Minnesota Vikings and the American Heart Association. The Florida bill obviously impacts athletic trainers and could severely hinder the profession in terms of who is calling themselves an AT. We see this in California already. In these situations, you'll find the Governmental Affairs Committee essential, and if the state association is working with a lobbyist, they can be worth every penny to help navigate who to talk to, specific tactics to implement, and help start a grassroots movement to help achieve an outcome that is most advantageous to athletic trainers. Without athletic trainers willing to commit to identifying, working on, and at times fighting these types of bills, the profession could be completely reshaped. The bills in South Carolina, Colorado, and Minnesota are prime examples of where an association can come together and decide to endorse a bill and show the support of the profession. In addition, grassroots action of reaching out to state senators and state representatives to show support to approve for a bill can make a difference. It may seem small, but without it, no impact can occur. Further, This type of governmental affairs work in Wisconsin led to the removal of the requirement for a physician's signature on the protocol for practice. In most settings, clinical, high school, collegiate, getting the signature is not a big deal and doesn't generally impact how you can practice. But with the removal of that requirement, vast amounts of new opportunities now exist for athletic trainers to start their own companies and to not have to worry about finding and potentially paying a physician in the process. The work does have an impact. Sidebar, with the work on third-party reimbursement, if an AT wanted to open up their own clinic and is now being recognized by insurances as a medical provider, as we are, to get reimbursed, this could potentially let you go out on your own and work on something other than a cash-based business, which this already does allow. Final thoughts. Athletic training and life are busy. Service can be just another thing that is not for everyone, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. My request is don't miss out on advocacy. At times, there can be too much at stake. National Athletic Training Month is about recognizing the work we do as a profession, but it is also our best chance for advocacy, and it has to extend beyond the month of March. Do what you can, no matter how small, but make it impactful and help push the profession forward. Tune in next week to get the happenings in AT with This Week in AT.